Everyone, and thanks for joining us today. Our webinar will begin in just a moment. We wanted to share this video of Jason from Jamaica talking about his experience teaching in the USA with EPI. So here is his story.
I'm Jason, presently working in North Carolina teaching math, social studies, and language arts. First of all, we have the famous beaches in Montego Bay. You can do zip lines, scuba diving, boat rides, whatever you want. It's right there in Montego Bay. I've been teaching for the past 24 years. Actually, I was a principal back in Jamaica, and since I want to start my doctoral degree, one way to get the new experiences that I needed so I could write my thesis was to be a part of the program. Normally, when I heard about teaching in the US, a lot of persons would have been scared because it would have been some of the worst students you'd have come across and the experience wouldn't have been rich. But since I'm here, I can say that's not something that is true. Of course, we do have students who behave a little out of the norm sometimes, but I've been having a really rich experience since I'm here. The students really, really want to learn about the culture. One of the greatest things for them is to have me talk my Jamaican language, and so that's one of the things that they really, really like. One of my first projects that I work with since I'm on the EPI program is to make a comparison between things that were similar to Jamaica and similar to North Carolina. And when we look at the culture that we have here, it is similar to the culture that we have in Jamaica, where families place a lot of emphasis on education. And the same thing is done in Jamaica, because in Jamaica we were taught that if we want to get out of poverty, then education is going to be the best way out. And those are some of the values that are taught here in North Carolina. To be honest, I've learned a lot since I'm here. Actually, in the process of writing a math book from first grade to sixth grade, it is to take back to Jamaica to share with the Ministry of Education there, because the book is going to contain a lot of best practices that we are learning here. And for each of the standards that we are going to be looking at, we are going to try our very best to have at least 3 or 4 or 5 ways of solving any given problem. And hopefully they will be using those maths books in Jamaica in a few years. One of the greatest joy for me is to walk into my classroom and to listen to the students and to listen to their experiences. We're living in a global society, and one of the things that we need to do is to learn about each other's culture. If we don't learn to appreciate each other's culture, then we're not going to have a peaceful world. So sharing my culture with them and learning from them and they learning from me is a good thing. The cultural program, I think EPI is doing a good job when it comes down to allowing us to do a cultural piece each year and so on. Because I remember the first year I did the cultural program, we had over 200 community members and parent turnout for it. And so culture plays a big part. We cannot survive without culture, because we need, in order for us to have acceptance of self and acceptance of others, we need to learn about each other's culture.
Hi everyone, and welcome to our webinar, How the EPI Process Works. My name is Jessica, and I am the Content Coordinator for Educational Partners International. I'm from the mountains of North Carolina, and before working for EPI, I taught English at the community college level. Today I will be talking with you about what you can expect in our program from when you begin your application to when you come to the United States. We also want you to take this opportunity to ask any questions that you have about our process. You can ask them in the comment box and we will answer them throughout the presentation. Keep in mind that we won't be able to answer questions about your specific application for privacy reasons. All of those should be emailed to team@teachwithepi.com. Today we will be explaining EPI's program and give you an overview of everything from the application to becoming a cultural ambassador. By the end of this presentation, you will have a better understanding of each step of the process. If you're joining us for the first time, we are Educational Partners International, or EPI for short, and we are a cultural exchange program that brings international teachers to teach in K 12 schools in the United States. Our mission is to bring some of the best teachers from around the world to the U.S. to share their cultural experiences. As you can read here, our goal is to strengthen K 12 education by discovering and empowering the world's best international teachers to facilitate authentic cultural exchange. While we work with schools across the southern United States, our home office is in the mountains of North Carolina, which you can see in the photo on your screen. We would love to know where you are from too, so please take the time to tell us in the comments. And wherever you are joining us from, thank you so much for watching. The EPI process is made up of these 6 steps. First, you fill out an application to determine your program eligibility. Then your application is moved to the approved stage and you become eligible for school interviews. After completing a successful school interview, you become placed in a U.S. school. You then prepare for arrival and orientation in the USA and become an official EPI program member. You will spend 3 years in the USA as an EPI teacher, then you will return home to become a cultural ambassador. The first step in the EPI process is the application. EPI's application is thorough and it does a few important things for you. First, filling out the application creates a professional profile for schools to look at when they are considering teachers for interviews. We also use the information you provide on the application to decide whether or not you meet our eligibility requirements. Some of the requirements for being an EPI teacher are that you are currently teaching, you have 2 years full-time teaching experience, and that you have the equivalent of a U.S. bachelor's degree. EPI's application helps you collect the documents that you will need to apply for a visa, travel to the United States, and obtain a teaching license. You will also have 2 online interviews with EPI team members. The team will ask you questions about your teaching experience, classroom management, and lesson planning, as well as other topics that prove your eligibility and qualifications. After the interviews, you will be asked to provide proof of employment and credentials. Once you have uploaded all of your documents and passed 2 EPI interviews, you are moved to the approved stage. Being in the approved stage means that your application with EPI is complete, you have passed a background check, you meet our requirements, and you are now eligible for school interviews. Once you become an approved candidate, your application becomes a professional profile that is available to U.S. schools. They will look through the applications of all of our teachers in the approved stage to choose which ones to interview over a video call. If the interview goes well and the school is interested in working with you, you will be placed. Placement means that you have accepted an offer from a school and will be coming to the USA to teach. Teachers who are placed through EPI teach in public, private, and charter schools in North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, and Florida. As soon as you arrive in the U.S., you will participate in EPI's orientation. During this time, you will learn more about life and education in the USA, as well as the rules and regulations of the Exchange Visitor Program. Our orientation lasts several days, giving you lots of time to ask questions and prepare for the upcoming school year. After you complete orientation, you become an official EPI program member. As an EPI program member, you will teach in the USA for 3 years. During that time, you'll have access to 24/7 support from our trained and professional support team. The relationship between you and the support team is an important one and will continue throughout your time as an EPI teacher. Members of the support team will be able to assist you with any challenge from culture shock to meeting the needs of struggling learners. Another key resource our support team will provide you is Launch Your Classroom. Launch Your Classroom is an EPI-created professional development program for teachers that includes videos, books, a website, and one-on-one coaching with an instructional specialist. We cover everything from classroom management and student engagement to lesson planning and classroom activities. As EPI teachers, you will have free access to all of our professional development resources. At EPI, we understand that American students need the international perspective that teachers like you bring, and we are dedicated to doing all we can to help you deliver it. As an EPI teacher, you will also have the opportunity to share your culture with your students here in the United States through cultural exchange projects. Today, we have a couple of examples of projects our teachers have done in the past. Judith from the Bahamas brought the Junkanoo Festival to the USA. Her students made goatskin drums, cowbells, and headdresses. Students in EPI teacher Andrea's Spanish immersion class wrote letters in Spanish to students in her home country, Colombia. After exchanging the letters, the US and Colombian students were able to meet each other over Skype and talked about their cultures. After teaching in the USA for 3 years with EPI, you will then return to your home country where you will be able to become a cultural ambassador. After you return, you will be able to share what you have learned about the US with people in your home country, just like you shared your culture while you were here. This is one of the most important steps in the whole process because this is what cultural exchange is all about: building mutual understanding between cultures by sharing your personal experiences. Okay, now we will be taking the time to address questions. If you have not submitted yours yet, please ask them now. We will be answering all of your questions in the comments section today. Here are some of the most common questions that we get at EPI. Lots of applicants want to know how long the EPI program is, and we are a 3-year program. People also ask, is there an application fee? The answer is no, there is no application or placement fee. There are other costs associated with your application, such as obtaining your diploma or transcripts, but EPI will never charge you an application or a placement fee. Another question we often get is there an age limit? So no, there is no age limit. As long as you meet our basic requirements, you can join the EPI program regardless of your age. Some of those requirements are that you are currently teaching with at least 2 years full-time teaching experience, you have the equivalent of a U.S. bachelor's degree, and you have advanced English skills. We also have some other questions that have been on our applicants' minds more recently. Most people want to know, is EPI still accepting applications? So yes, EPI is continuing to accept and process applications. You can apply by visiting our website, teachwithepi.com. For more information about what our application process looks like at this time, please email our admissions team at team@teachwithepi.com. Another question that applicants have is, can I put my application on hold? And yes, you are able to start your application and later put it on hold if you need to. There is no obligation to continue once you have started. You can then choose to resume your application at a time that is better for you and your personal situation. Finally, our applicants have been wondering, how does EPI support teachers during times of uncertainty or emergencies? We always prioritize the safety of our program members and provide support for any situations that may arise while they're in the USA. For example, since the outbreak of COVID-19, we have been monitoring the situation, providing detailed guidance for our teachers, and operating at a normal capacity so that we can be available for all of our program members. So now that you know more about our program, it's time to talk about next steps. First, if you have not applied yet, go to teachwithepi.com and start your application. Once you are there, click the Apply button and answer the eligibility question. Then you will be able to make an account with your email address and begin the application process. If you have started your application but have questions, email us at team@teachwithepi.com. To end today's presentation, I would like to share this quote that illustrates the importance of an international education. J. William Fulbright was a U.S. Senator and founder of the Fulbright Program. He said, There's a multiplier effect in international education, and it carries the possibility, the only real possibility, of changing our manner of thinking about the world and therefore of changing the world. Here at EPI, we understand how important it is to provide students with a global perspective, and we are so excited to give both you and those students the opportunity to experience authentic cultural exchange. That's all for today, everyone. If you are interested in our upcoming webinars, go to teachwithepi.com/webinars and sign up for our mailing list. Also, be sure to follow us on Facebook to hear our upcoming events as well as to hear more from our current teachers. If you have any more questions, please email us at team@teachwithepi.com. On behalf of everyone at EPI, thanks for joining us and have a great day.